Welcome back to Weekday Grand Prix, the channel where we work on motorcycles, dream of supercars, and apparently forget to turn on our microphone for an entire day of filming. Look at this dummy. He thinks he's recording an intro right now, but didn't turn on his mic. And now we get to do this voiceover and try and salvage the video. And that dummy is me. Anyways, we're back for part 2 of our 2006 CBR 600 RR restoration. The previous owner had a little run-in with the cops that left the subframe fairly twisted to the right, along with a number of other bent and broken parts from when this bike was temporarily rubber side up. So let's get started dismantling the bike, and hopefully there won't be any unexpected surprises hiding underneath. Cue the intro. First things first, I need to remove anything that's going to get in the way of my access to the subframe, and anything I don't want to accidentally melt with my hand torch. So I've got to remove the seats, fairings, bushings, the heat shield, and get the exhaust out of the way as well. I really don't want to crack the subframe while we're trying to bend it back into shape, so I'm going to use my propane torch to get the frame nice and hot and hopefully soften it up enough so that we can twist it back into shape without destroying the subframe. Now that we got all the fairings and heat shield off, we can actually get a closer look at the subframe and see what we're working with. And it actually looks pretty good. I haven't found any cracks, so I think we're safe to start heating it up and seeing if we can twist this thing back into shape. Now, if we do end up deciding to actually sell this bike, we will go ahead and replace the subframe, but since I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this bike for myself or not, for the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and fix the subframe that we've got. And now it's time for the really sketchy part, trying to pry this back into shape while hopefully not cracking the aluminum. I'm going to do a number of cycles of heating and bending, checking for alignment, and then repeating the process until I can hopefully get this thing back to being reasonably square. Even with the heat, the frame needed quite a bit of leverage to get it to bend, so I got a second set of hands to try and pry the other way, and eventually we did manage to get the frame to bend. And though it might not be perfect, I don't think it'll be noticeable at all once we get the fairings back on the bike. Next week we'll be getting into all the basic maintenance that this bike needs, so oil change, coolant, brake fluid, not to mention replacing the tires, the rear sets, the levers, brake pads, and maybe even a valve adjustment. Let me know in the comments if there's any other upgrades or customizations that you think we should do to this bike.